Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start today's video with a story that's equal parts shocking and heartwarming about a young girl, a birthday that wasn't, and a scam attempt gone wrong. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe at the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Entitled mom uses her daughter to scam me for cheap pizza. While working at a pizza place in Los Angeles, I had a customer come in with her young daughter, probably around 8 to 11 years old. They had balloons and other birthday paraphernalia. First thing the mother says is that it's her daughter's birthday today. I said happy birthday to the daughter, who replied with thank you, but it was actually Friday. The mom had a kind of nervous look on her face, but quickly took it off. I didn't see this as a red flag, but it was definitely strange. They look over the menu for a minute or two and place their order. It was roughly $100 worth of food. The mom then asked me if we can deliver to a nearby park where they would be having the birthday party. This was also strange, as people usually place delivery orders over the phone, but this had happened a couple of times before, so I didn't think much of it. Once it comes time for payment, the mom asks if we have any sales or specials. This pizza place is popular and relatively high-end, so we rarely offer any kind of discounts for non-regulars. I told her, no, we don't have any kind of discounts. She gave me a reluctant okay and asked for the price. I told her the price and she tried to haggle with me. I told her that I couldn't lower the price. She kept insisting I give her a better deal on the food. Eventually, I gave up and said that I'd give her 10% off, our friends and family discount. She then asked for 25% off. I told her no, and that she could take the 10% or leave. She left. The whole thing was weird, but we have to deal with scammers once in a while. I've never had someone try to haggle me before. But this isn't the weird part. About 10 minutes after this all went down, the young daughter comes inside, alone, and holding a smartphone out. The daughter comes up to me and asks if they can get more than 10% off their order. I noticed that the mom was on speakerphone with her. That's why she had the phone out in her hand. The mom was listening to the conversation. She sent her daughter in, hoping that I would feel bad for the kid and give them a discount. I definitely felt bad for the daughter. She must have been so embarrassed, and it made me furious. I leaned in closer to the phone so that bee of a mom could hear me and said, I can't give you the discount, and it's kind of awful that your mom is doing this. Unlike your mom, you seem like a really nice, sweet girl. How would you like a free slice of pizza? I showed her all the slices we had available, hoping she would feel better, and then she says that she doesn't really like pizza. This only further confirmed that the mom is a trashy piece of crap who used her daughter to scam us for cheap pizza. My blood boiled. How can anyone be that trashy? And for God's sakes, don't get your kid involved in your little scheme. Anyway, I then offered the daughter a free soda. She didn't accept. I offered her a bottle of water. She didn't accept. Eventually, I just told her that she was really nice and should never do what her mom is doing. I wish I had the chance to speak with the mom alone so I could tell her she's a piece of crap and should go F herself. I just hope that the daughter doesn't grow up to be like her mom. Side note, thank God for the honesty of little kids. If I believed that little girl actually had a birthday that day, I maybe would have given them a big discount. And F that mom for putting in so much work and making her daughter lie. No one gets to choose their parents, but I wish some parents were much better. So sad to even imagine this, let alone have it happen to you. And our second story. Couple of Karens at a theme park kept 2 trains on a ride stranded for 15 minutes because they wanted the first row. I must preface this ordeal saying that I'm Italian, and this happened at an Italian theme park called Gardaland. This Tuesday, I went there with my D&D group for a fun day out. My dungeon master is terrified of heights and roller coasters. However, he wanted to experience a roller coaster with inversion since he never rode one. It was 2 p.m. in 33-degree weather. We chose to go ride Shaman, an older roller coaster model who has a double loop and a corkscrew only. Being very tame inversions-wise and is not very tall, we got in the queue and waited patiently, and right in front of us there was this family of 7, mother, father, what I think was either an uncle or a family friend, and 4 kids ranging from a teenager to a small kid. When we were in line, they were complaining that they asked for the disability pass for their son so that they could skip the queue, but the park did not give them one. And by crapping, I mean complaining very, very, very loudly, almost close to screaming. I'm Italian, all right, being loud's in my blood, but these people sounded like enormous, very annoying chickens. Guess what disability the son had? Dyslexia. Then they started complaining that the park was not doing enough to keep them fresh. Like, no crap, it's the end of July in Southern Europe in a theme park. What did you expect? They wanted to have fans on the pavement, walkways, and AC on the rides? After this whole ordeal, we finally get to the platform and the train pops up. Here's where male Karen starts to lose his crap. He wanted all of them to be in the front row of the first car. Problem was, the first car could only seat 4 people, 2 per row. Now it's just a matter of logic, realizing that you cannot physically seat 7 people in a 4-people car. You can't. There are not enough restraints. You won't fit no matter what. Here, female Karen starts to complain, too, that they're making the children sad. Uncle Friend then chimes in, saying that the kids are small. They can fit 2 in 1 seat. The kids in all this were extremely embarrassed and kept saying that second and third row were fine and begging their parents to get on the train. The employees try to calm the Karens and start the ride, leaving the Karens waiting on the platform while explaining to them how first-grade math works. We enjoy the ride and stop on the final brake run. There were 3 trains in operation that day, but we realized the other 2 trains never left the station. We didn't know what was going on, and we briefly thought that there was some kind of failure or a passenger struggling to get on or off. After 5 minutes, we realized it was still in the station because effing male Karen was still there trying to fit all the family in the first effing row, shouting so hard we could hear him from the track. We stayed stranded on the track for 15 minutes under the sun at 2 p.m., because male Karen sat in the front row and refused to leave. On the ride, there was a neurodivergent kid that after a while started having a meltdown because he couldn't get off the train, so his father started screaming to please let the train back into the station, but male Karen won't effing move. After some time, they finally called security and the Karens got kicked off the ride. Moral of the story, please remember to study basic math, even if you're 40 years old with 4 kids. And our next story. The HOA's towing our cars. My boyfriend has owned his townhome for a year, and I recently moved in with him. There are carports that fit 2 cars, but since I moved in, there are now 3 cars, so the truck was put out by the street/guest parking. The truck was towed, went and picked it up, called HOA. They said we need a sticker and are only allowed to have 1 vehicle per person. We can also pay for a guest parking pass that lasts for up to 6 months. We got the stickers and guest pass for the truck. We figured problem solved. They then towed the truck again. Tow driver said a woman called, pointed out the truck while they were there. Tow driver didn't confirm that she was from HOA, nor confirming truck had a pass or sticker. Tow driver was pretty quiet when we asked, so anyone can point out a vehicle and say tow it? The HOA then backtracked, saying the pass wasn't approved by the board. We asked for a refund of the tow and the pass. They gave us our money back for both, which was $140. I then took my car to my mother's to only have 2 cars in the carport. We figured problem solved. I'd taken my car's parts and put them in the carport so they wouldn't be sitting in my car at my mom's house. HOA took a photo and mailed us saying this needs to be cleaned up within 10 days or you'll be fined $100. It was cleaned up the day we got the letter. When we had called, a man working with the HOA had said he didn't have anything on file about the car parts in the carport. We thought problem solved. Awesome. Nope, we were fined $100. I reread the letter they sent us saying we have 10 days to bring this to the board. Also, even if it's still cleaned up, they can fine us. It's past the 10 days. We can no longer bring this up to the board, and they felt the need to fine us. We plan on calling today again since they're not in office on the weekend. We'll update. This has been a problem for us since December. Edit. I want to put word for word what a part of the letter said about the car parts in the carport. February 3rd, we got the letter that the violations were reported on February 2nd. You must address the issue within 10 days. If the violations are not corrected within the 10-day period, your voting rights and use of common area will be suspended, and the association may correct the violation at the expense of the homeowner. A fine has been placed on your account. Per your community documents, you have the right to request a hearing within 10 calendar days of this letter. If your request for a hearing is not made within this time frame, the association may proceed with the action or impose the sanction described in this notice, and you waive the right to have the final reconsidered. If the violation is corrected within the 10-day period, the association may, but shall not be obligated to, suspend the proposed action or sanction. Edit. We gave the HOA office a call today. The woman didn't say anything about the 10 days. She told us to take a photo of our carport and email it in with a description and the information about the situation. If the board declines our email and still has us pay the fine, we'll bite the bullet and hopefully will be the last we hear from them. Our understanding is that someone in the community took the photo and reported us. We still have no idea if this is the same person who had our truck towed, because if they were, they definitely were out of line for not being the HOA or part of the board. Hopefully this will be resolved before the week is over. And our last story. The HOA built a fence on my land. My mother died early, and my father and I moved to live with my grandparents on the farm. I really liked it there. Unfortunately, my father also died early from a heart attack, probably deeply missing my mother. So my grandfather raised me, and he also taught me to love living on the farm. Life there's almost like working 24/7. The fresh air, animals around, and a lake nearby. In general, I liked it there. My grandfather took on the role of the main male figure in my life, so I lived there until graduating from school and entering college. Unfortunately, when I was in my final year, my grandfather also passed away, and about a week later, it happened to my grandmother too. After the funeral, I found out that I had inherited the farm. I had to take an academic leave for a year to sort out all the affairs and hire more people to work on the farm. Thus, a year passed, and once the workers were trained, I finally was able to continue my studies. I had to leave for a few months, and in the middle of my studies, they called me that the HOA had blocked the road to my land, and the workers could not get there. Yes, although it's a small town, the HOA reached there too. The HOA decided that they could dictate the rules to me because they have a ban on animals, and the road partially goes near their land. They also declared that part of my farm is public space, and I had illegally seized it, even though my family has owned this land for over 100 years. The workers called me and told me all about this, so I had to drop my studies again and fly home. The HOA's lawyer hinted to me that if I became a member and made concessions about the horses, they could turn a blind eye to me using their land. I wasn't using their land, it's my land. I understood that they had some fake documents because copies of my family's documents have been stored in the city archives since the 1930s. They probably thought they could scare a young, inexperienced student who was supposed to become a future farmer. But what they didn't know was that I was studying to be a lawyer, and that my grandfather spent no more than 10 to 20% of what he earned throughout his life, saving the rest, and he passed all of it on to me. So I had the money to hire a good lawyer. Also, I recorded every minute of the conversation with the HOA representative, which was excellent evidence of extortion in court. So the HOA had to pay for all the legal expenses. Sorry for the short story, but English is not my language. But I wanted to share this. Sometimes people deserve to learn the hard way. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.